Hey guys, Jason Fox here and welcome to another video. In this one, I sit down with one of my clients, Nick, on how he was able to grow his business from next to nothing all the way to past 10K a month. Now, Nick did this while working a full-time job, has 2 kids and a wife, so he's extremely busy. So if he can do it, you can too. So make sure you take some notes and enjoy this one. Yeah, let's jump into it. So I'm pretty excited for today. Today will be really cool. Working with one of the first few clients that we actually brought on board with our 4-Step Consulting program. I've had a couple programs before, but this new program, Nick and his partner Josie were one of the first people that we really brought on, and we've been working together for a while. Excited for this one. How you doing today, man? You good?
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks for having me on.
No, of course. So you want to start? Actually, I was going to intro you, but I think it's better to come from yourself. So start off by telling us who you are, where you're from, and kind of what you do.
Yeah, sure. So my name's Nick. I'm the founder of Yeomans Digital Marketing. And basically me and my wife run a web design company. So we build websites for different kinds of businesses. And we're based in Canberra. So not up in the golden land of Brisbane and Queensland and that, but still enjoying it down here. And yeah, so that's basically what we do and what we're about.
Yeah, cool. And just for some further context as well, like how long have you been running the web design business?
So we're coming up on 2 years now. 2 years. Technically, because at the start there it wasn't much of a thing, but yeah. Technically registered nearly 2 years ago. So yeah,
cool. Well, yeah, let's start off with some questions. We'll kind of like start chatting back and forth here, but the first question I really wanted to know is, and I'm sure it'll be helpful for everyone else, is like, where were you before we started working together? Like, what was going on in your business?
Yeah, so I started out doing web design. I was working with another guy who sort of showed me the ropes in web design, how to build them and how to do all of that sort of stuff. And it was slow. It was very slow. Not to say it was failing, I guess, but we weren't really getting many clients. I knew how to build websites. I was bloody good at that. I just wasn't good at getting people to want them. So yeah, I'd built a number of websites for myself. I was also running a lawn mowing business on the side, and I built my own website for that. And yeah, so that was actually doing really well. Underneath Jim's Mowing, my website was ranking #1 in Canberra, so I was getting heaps of mowing jobs. And it sort of got to a point where I was like, I need to decide which avenue I want to go down. Am I going to really commit to building my lawn mowing thing and, trying to be better than Jim's Mowing, or getting better at doing these websites? And, the lawn mowing, that's hard work, the gardening and everything like that. If it rains, you can't do it. It's a little bit unpredictable. So I guess I made that decision. I'd seen a lot of your posts and stuff. I've been following you for a number of years, I think. And I was like, you know what? I'm really gonna make this choice and commit to building my web design business. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing, which is evident because it's not going anywhere. So that's when I decided to reach out to you, man. And yeah, never look back.
Yeah. Awesome. No, that's really cool. I didn't know the lawn mowing side of things. I knew you had like some different stuff in the background that you were doing. And just for context as well, like we've been working with each other, I think it's September last year or maybe a little bit earlier. But do you want to tell everyone and share what happened this month for you?
Yeah. Last month, February. So we had our biggest month in business ever. So that was really exciting. We crossed the mythical 10K a month mark, which is just fantastic. And it's shifted a couple of things in our mindset about just the realms of what is actually possible, like what you can really do, how far this can go. Like, you know, when you start out, a lot of people are like, oh, you've got to hit that 10K month, you've got to hit, you know, that's the goal, that's the but it's really just the beginning. Like that's the goal for you to say, yeah, okay, now I'm serious about this, and it opens the doors for what's possible. Where can this go? So that's, you know, that's really exciting for us to have hit that last month.
Yeah, and I think you're right. And also, like, everyone who's watching this, please congratulate Nick in the comments. Make sure you say congrats, because it's a freaking awesome milestone. I tell this story, you know, to students, you've heard it before, Nick, is how, like, when I hit, you know, 10K a month, well, Chris and I, we didn't realize. Then we hit 20K a month. We didn't realize, like, until we looked back and like actually celebrated those milestones, because it's really, really important. And, you know, as you got the bottle of scotch last week that we sent you over, I think it is important that you do celebrate that. And it's awesome to hear, you know, that mindset shift from like knowing what's possible, because there's something that I really wanted to touch on. And I asked you this before our call, is tell me about that November and December, because just for context for everyone, you know, it's not all rainbows and sunshine like building a business, if you didn't know that already. But I just remember, like, we were working together, we were going okay. And then November and December, it was kind of that weird period where it was like really tough. Like, tell us that story of what was going on then.
Yeah. So as you said, we'd been working together for a couple of months. I think it might have been July or August or something. I'm not exactly sure, but we've been working together for a little bit of time, really refined our offer and messaging and exactly what it is that we do for people, which was helping to bring people in. So it had started to pick up. But, you know, I'm doing the messaging, I'm doing the outreach, the prospecting, jumping on sales calls. And it wasn't going there. Just for some reason, this invisible, you know, force was holding me back, and I couldn't work it out. And it's just so frustrating to go through, you know, every single day, and I mean every day, doing your messaging, doing your outreach, doing your prospecting, creating content, you know, all of the things, you're ticking all of the boxes. You know, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. And when you're doing it all and it's just not working, you want to pull your hair out, you want to scream, you want to just crawl up into the fetal position and cry, because it's like you've done everything, you've done it all. Why is it not working? And you see other people who are doing the exact same thing, who are doing all the things that you're doing, and it's just blowing up for them, you know. And it's just, that's when the doubts really start to come in. You know, is it them? Is it me? Is it something, you know, am I just not cut out for this? And yeah, it can be a very difficult and dark time if you let that overcome you.
Yeah, and it's really tough. And I think, you know, in that circumstance back then, it was probably a case of like looking at me as well and going like, what the hell? Like, I'm invested in this mentor and like, it's not working. It's like really tough. But what we kept saying, and I think that you probably know exactly what I'm going to say, is I kept on saying this. I said, Nick, it's going to compound. It's going to compound. It's going to compound. It's going to pay off. And the hard work, like, as you know, most people on the outside will see is like, oh, Nick just blew up this month. Like, not at all. Like, this was the case of working together last year and building this up to the point now where it's like you've crossed that threshold and it's just going to keep on growing from there. Would you agree that it kind of happened like that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when we were in it last month and it was all happening and people are saying yes and they're signing up and stuff like that, it's very easy to get wrapped up in it and to almost think yourself, you know, holy crap, this month has been amazing. But I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't take some time to reflect and think about why that's happened. You know, these people who are reaching out to you because they've seen the content that you put out last month, last year. And, you know, when they're ready, they're like, oh, you know, I need someone to build me an awesome website. Hey, what was that guy, you know, the guy with the memes, right? And so they reach out to you. So it's not it's not a linear thing as much as, you know, our logic and the way that we think wants it to be linear. It just doesn't work that way. It's not like I put this post out and I'm going to get clients from it. It might not be that post. It might be the next one or the next one or the next one. But it's like this cumulative effect that happens over time. So it's not like you're hitting a hole in one with this magical post or this magical message which is going to sign them up. It's a cumulative effect of all of the energy, all of the effort, all of the work that you've put in for the weeks and months beforehand that finally get you over the line. And, you know, in my own reflection, I know that that's true.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that it's, as you keep on saying, it's that, you know, just putting in that work consistently. And for everyone who's listening, there's a couple things that I think that I've learned as a coach from you, Nick, as well, which I'm really grateful for, is that, you know, when we're implementing certain things and certain things that we're saying, and Nick did absolutely everything that we said, like from the get-go. Like we would say, Nick, do this, and he would go out and execute that, which is really, really cool as a coach to be able to, because influence is a big thing, right? And like be able to influence you enough to do what we say is amazing. And it's a cool feeling. But the big thing was we set you a task and you would go out and execute that, like with violent, like aggression and passion, like you would just go and do it. You know, I remember being inspired by some of your posts last month about, you know, looking at the KPI tracking sheet that we give you and saying, look, I've hit my numbers. This is so inspiring to keep on hitting it. And you kept on doing it and doing it consistently. And it's almost as if now it's who you are as a person, right? Like reaching out to people, creating content, doing that stuff. It's not a chore for you. It is as valuable for you as breathing and drinking water and eating. Like that's what it is. It's you as a person now. And I think for us as a coach, really understanding that it's not just giving the tasks, it's making someone embody this person as an entrepreneur. And that's really what we're going to be working on more, is like making people think like an entrepreneur, act like an entrepreneur, and then you become an entrepreneur who can hit that 10K a month mark. And yeah, and I'm really grateful to be able to learn that. Sorry for a little rant there, but kind of the next question is like, what do you think, was there any one particular key or any one particular thing that you think got you there, or was it a cumulative effect of everything?
So I guess the short answer is, yeah, it's a culmination of everything. But if I was to cherry pick one, like for people who are listening, if I was to say one that I would attribute the most of it to, is internally allowing your ego to take the back seat. When people give you advice, like you said, like, you know, I want to be in a position, you know, where you guys are, but, you know, doing a different thing, obviously. And that's why, you know, at the very start of it, why I reached out. And that's why you get a mentor, right? Because they've walked the path, they can guide you and get you there. And then, you know, when you come into like a coaching relationship and your coach says, hey, I think you should do this, this, and this. And then you're like, yeah, cool. And then you get off the call and you're like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, that's a bit of an ego trip, isn't it? Like, if you knew what they know, you'd be in the position where they are and you wouldn't need them as a mentor. Yep. But that's very hard for people, I think, to allow their ego to take that second, to take the back seat and go, look, I don't know what I'm doing. This person does. And even if it is really uncomfortable for me, like, a good example is, you know, when we started working together and I just started doing my outreach, and I was like, in the back of my mind, I was praying that they would say no, because I didn't want to talk to them because I was terrified of it. Terrified.
I remember this, yeah.
Yeah, you know, but that's not going to help you grow a business. You know, that's not going to help you achieve your goals. So even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's, you know, it makes you feel all these negative, uncomfortable, icky feelings, you know, you've just got to, you know, front up and do it. And you've got to tell your ego to shut up and say, hey, I'm learning this, and it's okay for me to screw it up. That's okay. 100%. Ego check, keep your ego in check would have to be my number one thing there.
Yeah, I agree with that so much. It's really, and I think that's sometimes why some people don't sign up or don't work with us is because, well, one, like I'm relatively young as well. You know, people are like, oh, well, I'm older than him. I should know like better than him, or I should know this sort of stuff. Like that's really not the way to work in business. Like be vulnerable enough and also like have that, remove that ego to know, okay, I need help. Let me go get help, because it proves, like, it speeds up the whole process by you getting that help and accelerates it. You learn from every mistake that I've ever made. And I think that that's really important. You know, for us, for example, is like when we invest in coaches, we're invested in a coach right now and like a very, very significant, like very significant investment. And the coach has been in business not as long as us, which is crazy, right? Like we've invested so much and he's not been in the game as long as us. But our ego is he's doing better than us. He's doing the things that we want to be doing. So let's go and work with him. And I think that that is really, really important, is like letting your ego aside and just doing what, you know, someone who has done it says. So I love that. And I think that that's a good lesson for me to listen to as well. Now, what I like about what you do as well is something you said or posted about is by 5 p.m. or you have like a certain deadline around your outreach. Could you explain that to everyone? Because I think it's very helpful.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. That's the cutoff.
Yeah.
So as you know, we've got our KPIs that we have to reach, right? Daily KPIs. And I have a flexible, shall we say, approach to how I get my work done, as long as it gets done.
Mm-hmm.
So in the morning, you know, I might go, hey, you know, I feel like I want to create a post. So that's my content. I got to tick that off for the day. Other days it'll be like, hey, I want to do my outreach and my prospecting first thing in the morning. You know, I'm pumped, I'm ready to go. So I'll do that. So it's not so much, you know, at this time I do this, at this time I do this. My personal approach to it is I've got this list of tasks which needs to get done. And as long as it's done by 6 p.m., I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been days where I'm having a procrastination day or something like that, you know, or I've got a lot of calls or just ad hoc kind of tasks which pop up, which aren't part of my daily list. And it can get to 10 past 5, 20 past 5 or something. And I'm like, holy crap, I have got half a day's work or something to do. And I'm like, right, switch on, turn everything off, like all the notifications off, turn every distraction off, and this is go time. Because I've set that as a rule, 6 p.m. I need to have this done. So I'm messaging people, reaching out to people, doing my friend request, doing my outreach, everything. And I've posted it in the group before, you know, it's 5:56 or something like that, tick, got it done. Like it's a religious kind of rule. You know, 6 p.m. I have to have this done every day.
Yeah, it's that relentless approach of like knowing that this is your standard. You know, for me, I always talk about standards, but your minimum standard is reaching out to people, setting the task and doing the things that we say. And I think that that's fantastic. And definitely everyone should be doing that, is like having that standard and making sure you hit it every single time. So I love that. Kind of the final question from my end is a selfish-ish question, but like, what would you say to others who are considering joining, or would you recommend like working with us? And full transparency, it's the ball's in your court.
Yeah, sure. So one of the biggest regrets that I have is, you know, I went back through our messages, mine and your DMs, right? And I reached out to you, I think 3 times over a number of years. And my biggest regret is not taking you up on it the first time. You know, based on the experience that I've had from when we started working together to now, if I had done that 2 years ago or something, you know, whenever it was that I first reached out to you, and just imagine where I would have been now based on, you know, the track record of what we've done together so far. It kind of makes me want to cry. You know, for anyone who's thinking about it, I'm sure, you know, they've seen the content and they've thought to themselves, oh, you know, that'd be really cool. Right now, if you're having that thought, don't let it stop there. Don't let it just be that thought. because, you know, I did a post earlier this week, you know, in 6 months time, you're going to wish that you started today. Start today.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, throughout my journey, the things that I've done and the things that I've learned through working with you is like every single time, you know, we have these like little mini breakthroughs, and then it's like, okay, now I'm stuck here. All right, we'll do this. Okay, breakthrough. Now I'm stuck here. And it's these little 1%ers, these 1% improvements that accumulate over time, which makes like just a world of difference. But none of that is going to happen if you let it stay just a thought. Hey, that'd be cool. Yeah. Hey, wouldn't that be nice if this thing happened? Well, as long as you keep dreaming about it, you're only going to keep dreaming about it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I appreciate the kind words, and I would agree as well. Like the big thing is, and that's what a lot of people say, is like not investing sooner or not doing something sooner. The act of actually investing makes you more committed to your business and makes you more like, I need to do this because of that fear of loss, losing your investment. That alone is worth it to make that investment, to really push you to the next level. But then from there, I think you're right, is the 1% tweaks, is we're constantly moving and moving forward. Like the problems we're solving now, like imagine if you were trying to solve those problems last year, you'd be like, whoa, like who is this Nick person who's like solved all these problems and has everything? Like they're like completely different to what we originally started working on, which is why we're here. And that's how our relationship works, is you're on every single call asking, and we're solving new problems. Even on the Tuesday to Friday calls, we're solving new problems. So I think that that's important for everyone to know, is like, you know, the person you are now is different in a year, and we're still going to be there to support you with that. So again, thank you for the kind words. And just so everyone can know, because I know that you work with agency owners, coaches, like how can people find you, follow you, like speak to you a little bit more, like give us a kind of rundown of that.
Yeah, sure. So like I said, my wife and I build websites. That's what we do. And we build websites for many different kinds of businesses. So, you know, through the COVID lockdowns and everything like that, we did a lot of work with brick and mortar style businesses so that they can continue trading online. It's a different marketplace for them. But it meant the difference for a lot of them between shutting down forever and continuing on their business. Yeah. And so through that, you know, we also do e-commerce, so online stores and stuff like that. And we've recently just started working with coaches so that they can get their programs into their own website. So it's built into a platform that they own, that they control. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of the things that we do. And if you wanted to reach out with us or follow us, you've got myself, Nick Yeomans. You can look me up on Facey, Yeomans Digital Marketing on LinkedIn or Instagram. So most of the socials, just Yeomans Digital Marketing. And if you wanted to get your website done, you can hit us up at yeomansdigitalmarketing.com.au.
Yeah, awesome. Definitely recommend it if you are considering a website. But Nick, thank you so much for your time today. Really, really appreciated it. Enjoyed it, and appreciate the kind words as well. And yeah, so if you guys are watching this, please make sure you congratulate Nick, give him a follow, let him know that you've been watching and seeing his good progress. So thank you guys. I will see you next time. I hope you enjoyed that video. It was really, really powerful to see, you know, Nick's transformation. If you would like to learn a little bit more about what it's like to work with me, then go ahead and click one of the links below, either Instagram or Facebook, and DM me the word YouTube, and I'll walk you through the process. There's no hard sell or anything like that. I'll just show you exactly what it looks like to work with us. Now, while I have you, also please make sure you like and subscribe for more content like this. I will see you in the next one.